Ben here from eXp UK. Now today's short video, or long video depending on how long it goes on for. I'll try not to blab for too long, but it's made specifically for Purplebricks Agents. Now before we go into this, I just want to be very transparent, give you a slight insight into my background, and also just explain in a couple of minutes why I've put this video together. Now I am an ex-Purplebricks agent. I was a territory owner for the Fylde Coast, so I live up on the Lancashire coastline, basically a very posh way of saying Blackpool and surrounding markets. That's where I work now today and run my current business with eXp, and as I say, that's where I worked with Purplebricks. Now I've got incredibly fond memories of my time working at PB. My RD, the team that I work with, the people that I spoke to day to day, and those that I met at events, from the agents in different markets through to the senior team, were all incredible. I've got nothing but good memories and good things to say about my time spent there, but of course I did eventually leave, so clearly it didn't work for me. Now the reason why it didn't work for me personally, just speaking anecdotally from my own experience, was first off, I'd ran my own businesses before joining PB, so I've been completely alone with my own independent agencies. And one of the good things about doing that is that you get the autonomy and the freedom to do things your way. You can make decisions, you can decide the fees, the terms, the structure, the way you promote yourself, the markets that you target, all that kind of stuff. And for me, that's the fun bit about running a business. So when I came over to Purplebricks, whilst I understood this would be the case, I found it really hard to adjust to being micromanaged, to be given targets that I was now accountable to. I didn't like having to follow someone else's pitch format, to fall in alignment with someone else's fees and terms, and ultimately to have to be in meetings and events whether or not I decided that I was going to get value from it or it was convenient for my schedule. So what I'm trying to say is that I just didn't feel like a business owner, and for me that really sucked the fun out of running a business. But also when I looked at the commercials, when I looked at the economics in terms of the time in for cash out, it just didn't sync up for me, because by the time you look at the time that you invest in responding to WhatsApps at 11 p.m. or emails at 6 o'clock in the morning, by the time you factor in your pre-calls, your valuations, the research that you do, the admin, the travel, qualifying buyers, negotiating, following up for feedback, securing a deal, again doing all the admin and the travel and paying for fuel and all that kind of stuff, I thought that even when I earned well at the end of the month, if I took the time that I'd invested to get that financial outcome into a minimum wage job, I probably would get more money and less stress off of the back of it. So once I realised that the money wasn't working up and I wasn't quite getting the work-life balance that I was looking for, it very quickly unravelled, and I realised that PB wasn't somewhere where I was going to build a business and invest my future. And of course that's why I stepped out of it, and that's why I now work with eXp UK. So a very quick overview of eXp, and I won't go into the weeds too much because of course this video is going to be a bit more insightful. We'll do a screen share in just a second and I'll explain things step by step. But to give you an overview, eXp give experienced agents, and by experienced I mean you must have a minimum of 2 years industry experience to partner with us. So as long as you meet that experience quota, we give you all the structure, the tools, the tech, the CRM, the portal access, Rightmove, Zoopla, your own dedicated logins, your own website that's built around you with your text, your pictures, your narrative, your colour scheme. We build a full business around you for you to decide what markets you want to target. We give you full autonomy and freedom to build the business how you want. You choose the terms, you choose the fees, you choose how you promote yourself, how you market yourself, what volume you go for, whether you're going to be small and have a quality over quantity approach, or whether you want to go mass market. It's completely up to you as the business owner to decide what business you want to build. So for me that was just music to my ears, because I thought that eXp would allow me that opportunity to spread my wings and just be an entrepreneur and build a business my way. And that's exactly what happened for me, and that's exactly how we've built it with our 200 plus partners that we've now got all over the country. So that in a nutshell is how the business works. But I just want to say before we go into it, again, just going back to that thing about being transparent, the reason why I've put this together is off the back of the recent restructure that Purplebricks announced, obviously taking the LPEs from a self-employed to an employed role. Now, it might well be that for you, depending on who you are and what your goals are and the direction you want to take your career, it might be that that actually works in your favour, because whilst you've been self-employed in title before now, we all know that in reality, for the reasons that I've just touched on, it doesn't always feel as though you're self-employed day to day. but you don't get the benefits of being employed. So, you know, you're still told what to do, and you've got your targets, and you've got a management team and people that you're accountable to. But what you don't have is holiday pay, sick pay, your bank holidays off, a pension pot, all those types of things that normally come as perks of being employed, you don't quite get. So now that they've made this restructure and this shuffle in how the business is working, that might benefit you if it is that you're happy with the way that you're working and being fed the valuations and having your targets and all that kind of stuff. If that works for you as an individual, then it's probably a good thing that you've now got a base salary and, you know, some of the added perks that come with being employed. But if that's not you, if you're an entrepreneur at heart, if you've got the fire in your belly, if you're driven by impact and you don't want a ceiling on what you can earn and you truly want to do things your way, then I do genuinely believe, or at least I hope, that today's video is going to be of some kind of interest or relevance. So stay tuned in, let me know what you think, and if you've got any questions, please ping me a message. But for now, we'll swing into the full main bit, if you will, of today's video, and yeah, I hope you get some insight from it. So I'm going to do a screen share for you now, and hopefully this works. So I mentioned earlier on, guys, that we give you the structure, the tools, the resources that you need to run a business. And this is one of the main things that you're going to be using day to day. So this is our CRM. It's a platform called Loop. Now, Loop is a cloud-based system, meaning that you can log into it from anywhere, any laptop or tablet. We recently developed an app. So again, if you're working on the go and you prefer to work from your phone like me because you're awful at admin, then you've got the option to do that. But ultimately, this CRM is what you're going to be working from. Now, this is, of course, a very brief whistle-stop tour. If you did decide to partner with eXp, we'd dedicate an hour as part of your onboarding to set you up with an account manager from Loop to really show you how to maximize the features and benefits of this CRM. But just to give you an overview, I'm going to run you through it. So when you log into the dashboard in the morning, you come into your lobby. Now, your lobby is effectively an overview of how your business is performing. It'll identify any new inquiries, anything that you need to follow up on, and it'll give you a team stream in terms of an overview as to how your business is performing. So, for example, if you look at the screen that I'm sharing with you right now, you can see that last week, 7 days ago, we completed on a property called Sandy Lane in Blackpool. It sold for £572,500, carrying with it an £8,587 fee. Before that, we completed on Fairfield Road for £875,000. That had a £13,125 fee. We've just accepted an offer on a property called Oak Hill Rise. That's got a £6,750 fee attached to it. So the reason why I point this out is first off to show you the functionality, but also just to kind of bring those figures to your attention that it's very possible for you as an independent agent to go out and charge these kinds of fees. Now, I'll reiterate what I said at the start of the call. I mentioned that I was a territory owner for Purplebricks working in Blackpool. That's the area where I'm still based. It's a market that's not known for its luxury properties. It's not known for high-end, high value, and it's not known for agents charging high fees. I've come in and built a business around my message, my narrative, my approach, and as a result, I've been able to attract vendors who are happy to pay these kind of fees, which has in turn led to me building a great business. Now, my idea of a great business might be different to yours, but the reason why I emphasize this is that the earning potential and what you can charge and what you can build as an independent operator really is confined only by your own goals, your own targets, your own aspirations, and ultimately the business that you want to build. So when I say the earning potential is there, hopefully this really brings it into full focus and shows you that that's not just me saying it. As you can see for yourself, that is very much the reality. Now, we have a market news and social section. I'm not too sure how close you like to keep your ear to the ground, but this ultimately pulls in all the industry news and updates directly into your CRM. Ironically, you can see the very first article that it's pulled there from Property Industry Eye, ironically, is about Purplebricks moving to an employed status, which is probably quite appropriate for this video. But nonetheless, whatever's going on with interest rates or industry news, it will come straight through to your desktop. So when you log in the morning, you're well informed as to what's going on in the market. Now, if I can refer you to the drop-down menu on the left-hand side, it's fairly self-explanatory for the most part. So you've got a diary, obviously, where you can manage your appointments, your Zoom calls, your viewings, your valuations, your commitments, whatever you've got going on. Again, no one else has got access to this diary. This is yours. There's no manager or anyone checking in to see when you've blocked your time out or when you're available. It's completely up to you what you book in and how often your diary is open. You've got your buyer tabs, your sellers tabs, your address books, which again is fairly self-explanatory. It's where you're going to build your database. Your address book might be for local contacts like surveyors, solicitors, mortgage advisors, insurance brokers, whoever you might want to be referring business to. Your appraisals tab and your property tab. So your property tab again is exclusive to you. So you've got your own sort of login as you come in. No one else can see your data. It will give you an overview of what's on the market, what's under offer, what's completed, and what's due to launch. This will feed straight through to your dedicated website. So again, when someone logs onto your website, a potential customer, a buyer or a seller, they'll see only the properties that you're marketing. And if someone inquires, obviously that'll come straight through to you directly, to nobody else. You've got your viewings tabs, your offers, and your prospecting. Now, the prospecting is probably one tab that it's worth me taking a few seconds just to explain, because you've been presumably being fed leads by Purplebricks for a period of time. So the one concern that XPB agents have coming into this kind of framework is, how the hell do I generate leads? Where am I going to get my leads from? How is this going to work? I've never been responsible for doing this myself in the past. And that's the scary part. And that is without question the one concern that I had coming into the framework. Now, I never use the word blueprint because I always think it's a bit strong. It sounds a bit definitive. But what I will say is that at the time of recording this video, guys, we've now got somewhere in the region of around 220 agents on the ground building businesses. Now, one thing that we've learned as we've started to grow and scale is exactly what strategies are working, where our agents are getting the quickest return on their investment, where they're getting the best bang for the buck, and where ultimately the lower hanging fruit is coming from. Now, this prospecting tool is built into the CRM. It's optional. You don't have to use it, but it's something that personally I would highly recommend, because what you're seeing on your screen now is exactly how I built the first 30 grand in my sales pipeline. Now, what this will give you is an up-to-date stream of properties that are on the market in your chosen territories. You get to choose 3 postcode outlets to target, and it'll give you the full address, the postcode, and the milestone that each of those properties is up to in their life cycle of selling. So if you have a look at the top there, you can see it says new instructions, fall throughs, reductions, withdrawn properties, and slow movers. Slow movers being a property that's been on the market from anywhere from 1 month to 12 months and as yet isn't sold. Now, when you come in, you effectively can tell the system which letters and which messages and what narrative you want sending to each property based on where that customer is up to in their attempts at selling. So, of course, you're going to want to send a totally different message to a customer who's been on the market 3 days versus a customer who's been on the market 3 months. That message again will change to a customer who's recently withdrawn or reduced their price or whatever it might be. So it's just a really intelligent way of taking out the guesswork and making sure that you can get your message and your narrative and your value out at scale to customers who are ready to instruct right now. Because guys, think about it. Although direct mail to some people might sound like a bit of an outdated approach, a little bit 1990s, people who are on the market are effectively customers that you could be helping. They've got the hand in the air saying, hey, I need a service just like yours. My current agent has failed to sell my property. How can you help? So for us, it makes complete sense to put you in front of these people. Now, I can't go into the detail of the templates that we use. You are free to use your own if you prefer, but going back to what I mentioned earlier, we've definitely learned what's working best for our agents. And one letter in particular that we brand the magic letter actually gives a 10 to 15% conversion rate from letter sent to customer on the phone, which is a great way for you to build your database. So again, when you come in and you partner your business with us, you get access to all of those tools and all of those resources. So that's the CRM. Another thing that's worth me pointing out, and I won't go into the weeds with this too much, but we have a platform that we call Workplace. You guys might well be familiar with this, but this really has been a great tool for us in terms of making sure that although you are working independently by your own rules, whilst it is you that's kind of setting the pace for how much work you put in, how many instructions you deal with, what fees you charge, and all the rest of it, it's good to have a network to lean back on. And as I mentioned earlier, all of our agents have a minimum qualifying experience of 2 years served, generally at quite a high level, from a director, an area manager, a CEO or business owner, to branch manager, to area valuer, whatever it might be. But people come into the business with opinions of strategies and what's working for them and what they've seen work in the past. So whenever we bring new agents on, this tool almost becomes like a melting pot of collaboration where people can share ideas. And of course, as a new business owner, you're free to dip into this and see what's been working for other people in different markets and take from it what you see necessary to help you build your business. So I always think it's good to ask questions, it's good to learn, it's good to upskill yourself, but ultimately it's good to see where success has left footprints and you follow closely in that path to give yourself the best chance of succeeding. Now, the obvious thing that I want to talk to you about is earning potential. Now, again, I've got no idea what the base salary is going to look like at Purplebricks, but it's safe to say it's not going to be amazing. And if you're an experienced agent, it's certainly not going to be in alignment, in my opinion, with what you deserve to be paid. Now, on this calculator, I'm going to give you, albeit a very quick and a very rough overview of what your earning potential could look like if you're a bang average estate agent. So you saw my CRM for yourself firsthand a few minutes ago. I talked you through the fees that I've been charging in my market. Now that's how I work. We're 200 agents strong or 220 agents strong at this time. I don't want to give you my biases and use me as one isolated example. So I'm going to give you a real running average of what the network is doing at this moment in time based on quite a healthy sample size of agents. Now, at the moment, our average completion fee across the board, all markets, all agents considered, is £3,405. So we'll just call it £3,500 for the sake of my rubbish maths. And let's say that as a bang average agent, let's just say you're going to do one listing a week. Now, if you're doing one listing a week, that's obviously 52 listings over the course of a year. Now, let's say that you sell 70% of those properties, which is roughly what we're seeing across our estate. That's going to mean over a 12-month period, you're going to sell 36.4 properties. We'll call it 36 properties. Let's say that you complete on around 80% of those deals. That's going to mean, that you do 29 completions over the course of a year. And again, let's say that you're a bang average agent and you're doing, we won't call it three, we'll call it exactly what it is. Let's just say you're doing exactly what our average agent is doing at the moment, and you charge £3,405 as a fee. That's going to mean that you've banked £99,153.60 in gross income, in fee revenue. So that's what's going to come into the business. Now, how the commercials work with eXp is that as the agent, you get a minimum of 70% of the revenue that you generate. So to put that into pounds and pence, if you did a £10,000 fee, let's say, for example, that means that you're going to take £7,000 and eXp are going to take £3,000. Quite simple, quite straightforward. Now, that only carries on up to a point where you've done 80 grand in gross revenue, meaning that the 30% that eXp take from you stop once eXp have taken £24,000 in a trading period. So I'll say that again. Your fees are split 70-30 up until the point where you've paid eXp £24,000, an average of £2,000 a month, basically over a 12-month year. And at that point, after you've hit that threshold, as the agent, you keep 100% of the fees that you generate, lesser a fixed transaction fee of £250 per transaction. Okay, so if we use this as an example, let's say the £99,153.60 that you've done, you're going to pay on the first £80,000 of that, it'll be split 70-30 in your favor. Okay, so that means that you'd get £56,000 in income from that first 80K. Now, the balancing 11 grand that you've done over that £80,000, if that was done in one completion, you'd get your £11,000 completion fee. You'd get the entirety, lesser the fixed transaction fee of £250, meaning that you'd bank £10,750. Now, the reason why it's worth me explaining this is because the capping threshold is super important, because this is what's going to mean that as the agent, you've got real longevity in the framework. In the early stages, when you're building your business, it's not really going to come into play. But 12 months, 18 months, 2 years down the line, once you've got a business that you're operating, a business that's got a pipeline, a business that's paying out with more predictability, it means that the financial needle is always going to be on your side as the agent, never on eXp's side as the hub, meaning that long term, you've got real longevity in the framework, and at least commercially, it makes sense for you to stay with us and grow your business over the long term rather than just staying here for a short fix. Now, one other thing that I wanted to show you was the website. So I mentioned earlier on that as part of being one of our partners, we build you out a website. Now, that means that you don't have to pay a load of cost on the front end when you build the business up, meaning that a transition to eXp is relatively cheap and seamless. All agents who come into the model pay £150 as a joining fee. Now, that's going to cover all your onboarding. We help get you legally compliant, help you with AML, help you with TPOS, your insurances, your ICO, all the things that you need to trade legally to protect you and to protect us. But as well as doing all the boring stuff, we also help you with all the exciting bits. So things like building out your website, choosing your branding, your marketing collateral, your business card, your letterheads, your flyers, all those kinds of things. We take care of and absorb the cost, so you don't have to fork out of your own cash. And this is an example of what the website looks like. So this is my website. As you can see, it's got my name up in lights, Ben Moore, powered by eXp. For some reason, I chose this yellowy, goldy theme. I thought it looked good at the time, but I might change that now. That's my tagline: good vibes, great homes, incredible people. I've got this online valuation for data capture, which is a really good tool, in fairness. So customers from a local market might find me on social media, find their way to their website, they'll jump on and fill out this, which allows me to get their details and gives them an instant online val, and I can follow up to confirm some details and hopefully close an appointment. This is all covered as part of your partnership with us. I don't pay for this myself. eXp cover the cost, which is pretty cool. If you scroll down, again, it's my pictures that I've chose. It's my text that I've put out relevant to my experience and my outlook. There's a picture of me there with my cameraman filming at a listing that we did last year. Everything about this is just completely made in my mind's eye. And the sold gallery, again, are my properties. So, you know, your personal website with a property and it's super bespoke and personalized to you. This one's just completed, so you can see the user experience. It's pretty slick. They click on, it's got the pictures, the floor plans. If you've got a video, that will be available as well. So it's a really good, nice way of doing it, but ultimately making it personal to you. And that's one thing that I really want to get across, guys. It's making it personal to you. It's that autonomy, because I know and you know that you've been sold a self-employed model before, and when you came in, it wasn't quite what you expected. You know, you wasn't given the autonomy and the freedom that a business owner should. But that's been the reason why we've been able to flourish over the course of the last couple of years, because we really do give people the opportunity to spread the wings and do things how they want to do them. Not how I say you must do it or somebody else says you must do it, but as the agent, how you want to build that business in your mind's eye. And that freedom to be creative, to be an entrepreneur, to do things your way, to build a business from the ground up the way that you want to do it is absolutely huge. Not only does it allow for hopefully a more profitable and successful business, but it also makes for a more fun experience and a more enjoyable process. As you start to do that, you feel a sense of pride and a sense of attachment because you really are building the business for you. Now, a couple of bits that I want to hit on before we wrap up today's video is that we are the most difficult company to join in that we've got the qualifying experience, but we're the easiest to leave. If you ever did decide that eXp wasn't working for you, if you had a change in goals or priorities, or for whatever reason, it just wasn't working out for you, there's no cost, there's no penalties, there's no exit fees. You need to give us 14 days notice to let us know that you're going to be leaving. You own all the data, all the properties that you list belong to you as the business owner. That means that you're free and able to rebrand, to set up somewhere else, to sell the business. Whatever you choose to do is completely your prerogative. Anything that's sold at that point, we'll even continue to pay you out on. So as solicitors start to settle invoices and as completions start to come into the bank, we will notify you of that, and you'll be paid out your 70% commission, or if you've already capped, your 100% commission less than the transaction fee long after you've left until your pipeline is cleared. So what I'm trying to say is that we try and eliminate eliminate as much risk as possible whilst giving you all the upside. Now, everything that we've covered in today's short video is accessed for a fee of £125 plus VAT, so £150 per agent per month. Now, I've had my own businesses completely independent in the past before joining eXp, before I joined Purplebricks, and I've paid well into 5 figures for this kind of structure, for the tools, the tech, the support, the portals. So you get all that for £150. So again, going back to what I mentioned before, we hope for the best, prepare for the worst. If things are ever slow, if there's ever a downturn in the market or things aren't going the way that you planned, you've got complete peace of mind of knowing that as long as you pay that £150, the doors to your business are going to stay open and you've got a service to offer consumers in your market. So guys, I hope that was some sort of insight and some sort of value. If you're interested in further discussing setting your business up with my help and the support of eXp, then please do text me, WhatsApp me, or give me a call directly on 075 3387 3817. Alternatively, you can find me on Facebook or on Instagram by searching What Ben Says, or find me on LinkedIn. I'm fairly active on there as well. My email address, if you prefer, is ben.moore, spelled MOORE, at exp.uk.com, or drop a comment on this video and I'd be happy to reach out to you directly. We'll have a chat in complete confidence. I'm even happy to jump on a Zoom call, do a screen share and take you through this in a bit more detail if you see value. But ultimately, guys, do what's right for you. I hope to catch up with you.